Hi everyone, and welcome to our newest video notes, The Age of Exploration. Now before I get started, I do want everybody to know that I have a few resources posted on Google Classroom to help you out with this activity. Now these resources are completely optional, but they are there if you think that they could help. Alright, let's get started. So what was the Age of Exploration? Pretty much this is going to be the time of explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama. It's a time when you have ships that can now sail all the way across the ocean and people discovering new lands and interacting with natives for the first time. It's also the time when there's a lot of death and destruction and fighting for gold and disease. Pretty much this unit has it all. So to break it down, the Age of Exploration was when Europeans traveled to new parts of the world. But why? So if you think back to the Pocahontas video clip that I had posted for this activity, we know that there were three main reasons why European countries began exploring the New World. And those three reasons were for glory, for God, and for gold. Let's start with gold because I think it's a little bit easier to understand. So we know that European countries need to find new trade routes, especially for all the luxury goods that were becoming popular at this time, like spices from Asia. Problem is, here where the spices are, and Europe's all the way over here. And at this time, there were two countries that controlled access to the trade routes to get these spices in Asia. Those were Egypt and Italy. And those two countries had access to the trade routes because they were located along the Silk Road. And so they charged all the other European countries high prices in order to be able to get those spices for themselves. So the European countries looked for other trade routes to get to Asia. Instead of looking by land, they started to look at the sea. God is another reason why the Europeans started the Age of Exploration, and this one's a little bit trickier to understand, so I think it's important to look at the context of when the Age of Exploration was happening. So the Age of Exploration took place around the same time as the Scientific Revolution and the Protestant Reformation, so around the 1400s and the 1500s. Now during the Scientific Revolution, there was new technology being invented, and so this made it so that there were compasses and updated astrolabes, new maps and ships, all these things that could help the Age of Exploration happen. But the Protestant Reformation was also when the Catholic Church was losing a lot of power and membership. At the same time, the Islamic Empire was expanding across the Middle East and Northern Africa. And so the Catholic Church felt threatened and they felt like they were losing a lot of their power and influence in the world. So as a result, many Christians wanted to spread their religion and convert people all around the world to Christianity. Now the third reason is glory, and at this time there was a lot of competition between the European countries. Now some of the most important countries during the Age of Exploration were Portugal, Spain, England, the Netherlands, and France. Let's start with Portugal, because Portugal was actually a leading country of the Age of Exploration, mainly due to the efforts of Prince Henry the Navigator. Now his name is a little bit misleading because he never actually navigated himself and he never went on any voyage. But instead, he built the first navigation school to help teach sailors how to navigate. He also funded research for a new ship called the Caravel, which would be able to withstand the harsh conditions on the ocean. Vasco da Gama also sailed for Portugal, and he's most famous for being the first European to sail across the equator. Now at this time, nobody from Europe had actually sailed south to the equator and lived to tell the tale. And there were legends that if you tried this, you're going to be killed by violent storms or maybe even attacked by sea monsters. Now, obviously these weren't true, and Vasco da Gama actually ended up being the first one to cross the equator, and he made it all the way to India by going south of Africa. So Spain also played an important role in the Age of Exploration, mainly because of Christopher Columbus. Now, we know that Columbus wasn't trying to set out to prove that the earth was round. He didn't think that he was in any danger of falling off the edge of the earth. But instead, what he wanted to do is he wanted to get to Asia a different way, and he thought that he could travel straight west across the Atlantic Ocean and get to Asia and India that way. Problem is, he wasn't expecting North and South America to be there. And so he ended up landing on the island of Hispaniola, though he thought that he had actually landed in India, and that's why we call the Native Americans Indians, because of this misconception. In reality, though, India was still very, very far away. So maybe Christopher Columbus didn't have the biggest role, but let's look at Ferdinand Magellan, who also sailed for Spain at this time. Ferdinand Magellan was the first person to circumnavigate the world. Now, this word circumnavigate is very long and complex, but let's break it down and look at the root words. So circum means around. So what circumnavigate means is that Ferdinand Magellan navigated all the way around the world. So he set out from Spain, and he traveled south of South America, and went south of Africa, and made it all the way back to Spain. Actually, though, Ferdinand Magellan died on one of the islands of the Philippines, but his crew continued around the south of Africa and continued back to Spain, so he gets credit for this. England was also interested in exploring the world during the Age of Exploration, and they funded the voyages of Henry Hudson. Now, Henry Hudson wanted to try to find the Northwest Passage. And so if you look at the map, England is a lot farther north, and so they didn't want to waste time and travel south of South America. They wanted to cut straight through North America. And Henry Hudson thought that he could find something called the Northwest Passage by connecting all of the rivers and bays that were across North America. He thought that they would all connect and he could find his way through North America and go to India and Asia that way. The problem is, North America doesn't have a series of rivers and bays that all connect. And so Henry Hudson's voyage ended up looking a lot more like this. As time went on, tensions between countries grew. For example, an English sailor called Sir Francis Drake stole treasure from Spanish ships, which led to the Spanish Armada, which is the Spanish Navy, attacking England. And even though the Spanish Armada was the strongest navy in the world, England somehow won that war. But with so many countries competing for new land, Europe was on the brink of war. So Spain and Portugal actually had the most conflict, as both countries were increasing their power and expanding their empires. So to determine who would claim new land, they went to someone who they thought would be fair and unbiased and would make the decision: the Pope. So we know that the Pope is the head of the Catholic Church, and at this time it was Pope Leo X. And he came up with a decision called the Treaty of Tordesillas. And under this treaty, he divided the New World into two parts, dividing it along the 46 degrees west line of longitude. So all the land that's west of this line would belong to Spain, and all the new land that was east of the line would belong to Portugal. So who benefited the most from this? Well, if we break it down by the territory that they gained, it's clear that Spain had so much more land. They had all of North and most of South America. And then Portugal just got a tiny sliver of the eastern coast of what's now Brazil. But it's important to keep in mind that at this time, the Europeans had really only settled on the eastern coast of South America. They hadn't really discovered that much more. We also have the voyages of Christopher Columbus, so they knew about some of the islands that are in the Caribbean. And so the rest of North and South America, they didn't realize that it had existed. So at this time, the time of the treaty, both sides were actually pretty happy with the treaty. So let's take a step back and see how this actually has influenced us today, because we're still seeing the effects of the Treaty of Tordesillas. So what language do they speak in countries like Mexico? They speak Spanish, right? What about in Argentina? Yep, they also speak Spanish. The Dominican Republic? Yep, Spanish. Guatemala? Spanish. What about Brazil? We see that it's on the other side of the line of the 46 degrees west line for the Treaty of Tordesillas, and yes, they speak Portuguese because of that. So the Treaty of Tordesillas eased tensions between Portugal and Spain. But other countries like England, France, and the Netherlands simply ignored the treaty, and they claimed all the lands wherever they wished. So how effective was the Treaty of Tordesillas? All right, so let's review for a moment. Why did the European countries begin exploring the New World? There's three reasons: glory, God, and gold. And so this led to a lot of conflict. This led to a lot of tensions between countries, and they started competing for all this new land, resources, and gold. All right, thank you.